Now let us continue a new topic, exemption from GST. In the last lecture, we have covered valuation of GST. Valuation of GST, I mean to say, how do we value the goods or services whose supply has been done? Because on that value, GST rate has to be multiplied. Now let us discuss exemption from GST. There are so many goods and services. If you supply those goods and services, there is no need to pay any GST. So the topic now which we will discuss is exemption from GST. So let me start this topic, exemptions. Now this exemption is covered under section 11 of the CGST Act and under section 6 of the IGST Act. So let me share with you the notepad and then we can start discussing this exemption topic. I hope you can see the screen now. Exemptions from GST. Now this exemption is given in both the acts, in section 11 of the CGST Act and in section 6 of the IGST Act. Then we have subsections, section 11.1 and 11.2. Here also, because almost the things are same, the only difference is one act talks about intrastate supplies and another act talks about interstate supply. Otherwise, conceptually, more or less, these are same. Now here the government has the power, through notification, government can exempt goods or services from GST. Here government can exempt through a special order. When any special exceptional situation arises, they can specially issue an order to make that particular good or to make the particular good or service tax free. Tax free means exempt from GST. Same is the case here. Here it is through notification and under 6 subsection 2 it is through special order. But now in both the cases I can be having goods as well as services. So through notification goods can be exempted or services. Through special order goods can be exempted or services. Here also goods or services and here also goods or services. So what I will discuss with you is that the supply of those goods which has been made exempt through notification, whether it talks about intrastate supply or it talks about interstate supply. So my first discussion will be on these two sections. Exemption through notification. But before this, you must know some basic concepts. And the basic concept is that, what do we mean by this exempt supply? I am saying that it is exempt. Supply of goods or services is exempt. What is this exempt supply? That supply on which there is nil rate of tax. Comma, or wholly exempt from tax. Now both the things are different. Nil means there is a tax, but tax rate is 0%. But there is a tax. Wholly exempt from tax means there is no tax at all. So I will not say that 0%. It is tax free. Just like under income tax act, there are so many incomes which are tax free, which are written in section 10 of the income tax act. So those are tax free, wholly exempt. Nil means these are not wholly exempt. The rate is 0% because today the rate may be 0%, but tomorrow government can increase this 0% to 12%, and then you will say that this is not an exempt supply now. Wholly exempt means it is tax free, there is no problem. Nil means right now it is 0%, but anytime it can change. So what is this exempt supply? The supply on which, the supply of goods or services on which either there is no tax, tax free, or there is a tax but the rate is 0%. Not only this, non-taxable supplies are also included in exempt supply. So technically, what is this exempt supply? This is exempt supply. In this box, there will be some supply which is wholly exempt. There will be some supply which is having nil rate of tax. And there may be some supply which is non-taxable. So exempt supply is a broader concept as compared to all these concepts. I have explained wholly exempt, I have explained nil rate. What is this non-taxable supply? It is the supply which is not leviable to tax under GST laws. Now, which is that supply which is not leviable to tax under GST laws? One is permanently not leviable, which is alcoholic liquor for human consumption. And another is what? Those 5 petroleum products which are temporarily not leviable to tax under GST laws. Because currently on these two also there is no GST. So this is my non-taxable supply, and when you have to compute exempt supply, it will become a part of that value. Now this I am not saying, Act says exempt supply is defined in section 2 clause 7 and non-taxable supply is defined in section 2 clause 78. So Act says this. So these two definitions are given in the GST laws. I hope the concept is clear that what is this exempt supply and what is this non-taxable supply. If yes, please raise your hand. So let me proceed now. So I have shown you this concept that what we will cover now, we will cover for the time being those supplies of goods or services which have been made exempt through notification. So I'll be covering section 11 subsection 1 as well as section 6 subsection 1 of the IGST Act, 11(1) of CGST Act and 6(1) of the IGST Act. Before that, I wanted to discuss with you the definition or meaning of exempt supply and non-taxable supply, because if any numerical question comes, some figures are there and question asks you that compute the value of exempt supply, then this definition of course will help. 2 clause 47 and 2 clause 78. Now I am starting my main discussion. So my heading 1, I can say, is, for the timing, my heading 1 is supplies which have been made exempt through notification. When I use the word through notification in exemption, do remember that either it is section 11(1) or it is 6(1) of the IGST Act. If the supply is interstate, it will become 6(1). If intrastate, it is, that means 11(1). Now, as far as exemption is concerned, there are two different types of exemptions which can be notified. Exemptions without condition. Exemptions without conditions. In some cases, there is no condition. These are absolute exemptions. Like meat. In some cases of supply of meat, full exemption. Curd, lassi, milk, full exemption. There is no condition. No condition is required to be satisfied by the supplier to make sure that the supply is exempt. No condition more. If this is that product, exempt. So this is without condition. Some exemptions comes with conditions. If the supplier fulfills the criteria, then only exemption is there, otherwise not. So these are conditional exemptions. These are with some conditions. Now it depends on each and every supply. We have this notification, a lengthy notification which gives you so many supplies. I want to show you that notification also from the website. That may show you the glimpse of that notification. Then I will write some points which you can learn. Otherwise, we are not supposed to learn all the entries. It's not possible. Everyone needs the help of the act or rule to check that list. No one can learn that list. It's not possible. But some exemptions you must know are without conditions and some are with conditions. Those which are without conditions, supplier has no right to collect any tax from the recipient. Supplier shall not, he must not collect the tax from the recipient. Tax must not be collected. In conditional, it depends, because if supplier has agreed for this conditional exemption, he will not collect the tax. If not, he will collect the tax. But in case of absolute, act clearly write this language that suppliers shall not collect GST from the recipients on such unconditional exemptions, supply of without any conditions. Now let me show you an idea of that notification. It was the second notification of GST laws. Let me share that. I hope you can see this notification. Is this notification visible?
Yes, sir.
The language. In exercise of the powers conferred by subsection 1 of section 11 of the CGST. That is what I was saying. That section 11 subsection 1. And then this line says, from the whole of the central tax leviable thereon. So 100% tax free. Now these are so many goods. For the timing I am discussing goods, then I will start services. These all are the examples of goods. Organic manure, kajal, plastic bangles, condoms and contraceptives, firewood, fuel wood, judicial papers, postal items, checks, newspapers, children's picture drawing or coloring books. There is no GST on these. Gandhi topi, coconut, Indian national flag, human hair, no GST. Spacecraft and spacecraft launch vehicles, no GST. Puja samagri like Rudraksh, wooden khadau, panchamrit, etc. etc. You can see that these are some common items which are used by most of the people of India, and that is why there is no GST imposed in these cases. Bananas, dried vegetables, potatoes, curd, lassi, buttermilk, natural honey, live fish, so these are so many supplies of goods, not services, which is exempt from tax 100%. There is absolute exemption. There is no condition involved. Now, you are not supposed to learn all these, but let me write 7 to 8 items for you, which you should learn. So I wanted to show you an idea about this notification. And now let me again share with you my notepad. And you can learn any 7 to 8 items if any theory question comes. So the heading is what? Supply of goods exempt from tax. Now whether it is absolute or conditional, that is none of our purpose right now. We must learn the name of those supplies of goods which is exempt from tax. So only write a relevant one. Live fish. These things are easy to learn. Curd, lassi and buttermilk. Fresh milk. Then prasad. Prasadam. Supplied by temples, mosque, church, gurdwara, wherever. Temple, mosque, gurdwara, church, etc. From these places, if prasad is supplied, then Government says no need to pay any GST on those goods. Kajal. Condoms and contraceptives. Because India is a populated country and people at lower level, for them it was necessary to supply condoms at less rates. So government excluded GST from this so that the use of condoms can be extended and the population of nation doesn't grow at a rapid pace. Then these idols that is made of marble to keep religious feelings alive, government excluded this from GST. Wood. Okay, so this was the purpose of keeping. So every exemption which is given serves a purpose basically. The newspapers. Gandhi Topi, you can easily learn. Gandhi Topi. Indian national flag. Rakhi. Rakhi is of course the festival. This festival, again, it is basically to make sure that the purpose is to preserve the human feelings also. So Rakhi also has been made tax free for the purpose of GST. Now these 11 examples are more than sufficient. You should learn these. That these are the supply of those goods. And there, the list is huge. The list is very lengthy. I'm not covering each and every item. No one can cover it. But 10 or 11 you must learn. So if theory question or a short note on exemption comes, you can explain that supply of the following goods is exempt from tax. Now this is my first concept. Within the same section, now whether these supplies are interstate or these supplies are intrastate, in both the cases this supply is tax free, exempt. When it is interstate, I will write section 6.1. When it is intra, I will write 11.1. That's the only difference. Otherwise, no tax. Similarly, supply of services exempt from tax. Supply of services exempt from tax. Now again, let me show you the notification of services also, so that you can get an idea.